Welcome back to Blatantly Honest with Michaela Nichols. On today's episode, I spoke with Christina Granger. She's a mom of 3 and a loving wife. Her career path was one that she never expected. On September 11th, 2001, when the world stopped turning, Christina knew that she wanted to become a nurse. In her spare time, she loves to extend a helping hand. She began volunteering at the Genesis House, a nonprofit organization in Melbourne, Florida, that helps women and children in transition. After working with the organization for quite some time, she wrote a book called The Teddy Bear with the Red Backpack because she wanted to start a narrative between parents, children, even educators about the importance of volunteerism and how it can positively impact our youth. Proceeds from the book go directly to the Genesis House. It's a pleasure to have you on today, Christina.
Thanks for having me. I am so excited to be joining you this morning. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So I guess for everyone listening, let's start at the very beginning. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I was born and raised, and I stayed there for 22 years. And then from there, I left and lived in Durham, North Carolina, where I ended up doing my master's at Duke. So go Blue Devils! Yeah, yeah. And then from there, I came on back to Florida.
Wow. So how was North Carolina?
It was amazing. Like being on working at Duke University Medical Center and then actually being a student at the nursing school at Duke was just a experience that I will never be able to forget. It was absolutely amazing. Learned so much, not only about medicine, but about myself as well. And we got seasons. We don't have seasons in Florida. So
I know, tell me about it.
I had a chance to experience like winter.
Isn't it nuts? I know. Florida is just hot, hot, hot.
Yeah. So it was really nice to be there.
Wow. So I guess let's talk about how you got into medicine in the first place. Was that something you always wanted to do?
So, I like as a kid, first of all, I love animals, and I really wanted to be a veterinarian when I was a kid, and I just loved animals, and that's what I was going to do. And then, you know, on September 11th, when 9/11 happened, the world stopped turning. I immediately changed my major and was like, I'm going to be a nurse and I'm going to be in acute care at some setting. So, and that was that. I ended up changing from biology to nursing, and then I ended up doing my bachelor's of science in nursing at University of North Florida in Jacksonville, Florida. Ended up graduating and then immediately went to Duke University and did my master's there, and ended up as an acute care nurse practitioner. So I've been doing that now for 13 years. In 2012, I went back for my doctorate. So I entered my doctorate of nursing practice from University of Florida, Gainesville. So now I work as a doctor of nursing practice, and what my focus is actually in surgery. So I go and assist the surgeons with different types of surgery. It could be general
Wow.
surgery, orthopedic surgery, GYN oncology. And what
Oh,
happens is that, yeah, so they end up calling me and say, hey, we have these cases, we need help. And so I'm there. So it's myself and the surgeon. And of course, we have amazing scrub techs and nurses that work with us in the operating room. And we make sure that we deliver the best safe care that we can give our patients. And then when I'm not doing that, I actually work in aesthetics. So one day a week, I work at a med spa called The Refinery. It's in West Melbourne, Florida. And I'm one of the injectors there. So we do Botox, filler, cool sculpting, cryo. It's my fun job, my glam
it
job.
sounds more fun than like being in surgery, I think.
There's some cases though that I do that like I really, really enjoy, especially like any type of like colon case. Like I love those cases. So
Oh
I'll
my
take
God,
those
really?
any day of
That
the
doesn't
week.
like gross you out?
No, in fact, yesterday kind of was an interesting case. It was an individual with bowel obstruction, and you know what? It's corn every time, always corn. So I always
Corn?
joke, I'm like, people don't
Yeah.
need to eat corn. You could have like corn tortillas, corn chips. That's it. Raw corn, no way.
Yeah, I know. Not to be like TMI, but corn, like corn will do it.
I mean,
All
whole kernels, whole kernels. There's no
Yep.
chewing happening when I find corn.
You're like, what is going on here? Well, note to self for everyone listening: eat corn chips and everything, but not really corn.
Please just no, you just don't need to.
Yeah, your body's just like, no. So, so aside from doing all that, you're passionate about so many things. What do you do when you're not working?
So when I'm not working, I have three kids. I have an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7-year-old, two boys and a girl. And I spend, a lot of time cheering somebody on some form of field. We're either on a soccer field, we're on a dance competition. So I spend a lot of time with my kids. I feel fortunate. I live off a barrier island, off of Melbourne, Florida, and it's so nice to be able to just walk to the beach with the kids or go to the parks that we have in the area. So I try to do that with them as often as I can. And then the other thing that, I have been doing in the last year is, volunteering when I can. And one of the places I volunteer at as is the Genesis House, which is the charity that is my platform for the Mrs. Florida pageant.
Wow. So tell us a little bit about the Genesis House.
So the Genesis House is a nonprofit organization in Melbourne, Florida, and it's an emergency shelter for women and children in need. So the idea is that this is a short-term transition period for these individuals. So there's three houses, and one of the houses actually has just pregnant women in it. So
Really?
it's pretty amazing. They had 115 children go through the Genesis House last year. I had a chance to meet some of the residents about a week ago. I did a live book reading, which I'll talk about a little bit too. And it was such an honor to meet the residents. I mean, these women are really doing their very best to either try to do some form of advancement in education or find some different type of employment opportunities so that they can get on their feet and find some type of permanent, housing.
So for people that are listening that might not know what it's like to be in transition, so to speak, what does that mean?
It means that, for some reason, there was some circumstance in your life that you had to leave your house, you had to leave your home, your belongings, your family, and you really are at the mercy of any type of support. And the great thing about the Genesis House is that, they really support women from, 18 years of age to 65. They have residents that are in there as senior residents. So, I mean, there are just individuals who are also at that brink of they're not that they're homeless, but they're just above the poverty rate. So, and there's a point where you're not making the rent or something has occurred where you just need to get out of your situation. They are fully equipped to take care of these individuals, and there's social workers on site. So it is such a wealth of opportunity in such a small place, and we're so lucky in Melbourne, Florida, to have this organization.
How did you hear about the Genesis House?
So interesting. My children go to Holy Name, which is in Indiana, Florida, and our one of the teachers, she became involved with the Genesis House years ago, and she would talk about it. And we would, as a class, we would sometimes do class projects to support the Genesis House, but I really didn't get a chance to feel what we were actually doing until I actually started to go to. They have a Genesis boutique, which that's what I started getting involved in. The Genesis boutique is kind of like a high-end thrift store where people bring in clothes they don't want, and all of the funds from the donations end up going to the Genesis House. And the really interesting thing, and it's so funny how we're all like connected here. The teacher, her daughter is Kate Chastain from Below the Deck. So Kate ended up saying she ended up creating the Genesis boutique with her mother. So I thought that
Wow.
was really cool.
What an incredible project, especially for, mom, daughter, and
Yeah, absolutely.
giving back to the community all at the same time. What does volunteering mean to you?
So volunteering for me, especially when your time is so precious. I think the most precious thing we have is our time and our thoughts. And if you give somebody your time and thoughts, that really puts them above and beyond in your book. And time for me is really hard to come by. So I want to put my time in a place where I feel that my efforts, I'm going to see the fruit of my efforts. And I see that in the Genesis House. When you go and you volunteer, whether you're, just giving towards the children, like in fact, they were just doing a back to school drive. Those items that you're donating actually go to the kids living at the Genesis House. It's not being funded and shifted. It literally goes to the residents. So volunteering for me is giving my thoughts in time and making sure that I get to see everything in fruition. So
That's incredible.
And one thing that ended up with, the Genesis House and Genesis Boutique is I would come home and I would chat with my kids about, what I ended up doing that day. And, my daughter, in regards to what does donating volunteering mean, she would say, well, kind of what are you doing? How does it work? And that started getting me thinking about it would be really neat to create something to start a narrative with children. And so I started to think about how could I relay the importance of donating and volunteering, especially to not only my daughter, but to small children, that I ended up writing a book. And the book is The Teddy Bear with a Red Backpack, which I have right here.
Wow.
It was this book means so much to me. You can find the book on Amazon in Kindle and in print. It's called The Teddy Bear with a Red Backpack. It was released in March. And the book is to start a narrative with with children, parents, educators about the importance of volunteerism and how it starts at a young age. It starts at the home. So that this is something that, in their, when they're later on elementary years, later on in their teenage years, going to a soup kitchen is not a weird thing. It is so normal. Donating your clothes, you don't think about, let me just, throw in the trash. No. We donate things. So it's to make it a part of their life. So I'm really, really proud of the book. And the book is inspired by the Genesis Boutique. So there's actually, my aunt is the illustrator on the book, Patricia Reed, and we ended up doing these beautiful drawings. And this is actually the Genesis Boutique, which means a lot to all the locals in Melbourne, Florida, because this organization means so much to us.
Wow.
So I'm super proud of our little bear.
Oh my God, you should be. It's stunning. The artwork is beautiful. I'll have to definitely get a copy.
Yeah. And that's the best, and it's so weird because I released the book in March, which, I mean, who would have known we'd be living our best life in 2020 in a pandemic.
God, I know.
So to release a book and kind of everything just stood still, it was definitely an experience altogether. So it's only been kind of in the last maybe month that I've really started to push the book. But the book did really good as a new release, right behind Elizabeth Warren. So
wow, very impressive.
Yeah, but I'm really proud of it. And the idea behind the book is the proceeds from the book sales go to the Genesis House, and my reign as Mrs. Melbourne will eventually end. But the idea is that this book will be there, and like I said, what is hard to come by? It's your thoughts and your time. This book will passively, hopefully, provide income to the Genesis House. I'm so actually super excited. Today I actually get to pick up my evening gown dress. So I'm like, I finally get to have it and bring it.
I don't even have mine yet, so. But well, awesome. Well, the teddy bear with the red backpack is on Amazon, and people can find it in there. Great. Yeah. And all the proceeds are going to the Genesis House. So what an awesome cause.
You got it. Yeah. So, and then there's, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Grain and Rain, GRAIN and REIGN. So you get to follow all of the fun about pageant. And in the end, we're saying that, going against the grain and finding your own type of beautiful. So you'll see things about the book and stuff about the pageant. And then the teddy bear with a red backpack has its own website. It's just the teddy bear with a red backpack.
That's incredible. So a few more questions for you. With everything that you're doing and, your reign as Miss Melbourne, what does that mean to you? Were you always involved in pageants?
No, I did a pageant in high school, like the local high school pageant, and it
Yeah.
was my mom was like, "Come on, Christina, you should do it. Just try something different." And what I got out of that experience was you had to work for something. We were all working as a group. It really brought that group of girls together, people that I may not have been friends with, like, in a natural setting, but together we were all working towards the same thing, which is the production of the show. And it was really fun. So in like 2019, I was like, we're gonna kick off this decade by doing something really fun. So I'm gonna, I don't know. I think I want to do something that really pushes me, not only physically but emotionally and mentally. And I ended up coming across the Florida America Pageant system. And here I am with the longest New Year's resolution I've ever found, because this pageant has been moved now twice. It was supposed to be May, and here we are, September 5th. It's finally happening. So I am so excited.
Yeah, knock on wood. Hopefully, I just like am waiting for them to be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, actually no." I'm gonna be like, "No,"
No, I
but
know. I like literally little daggers have happened in my heart every time I've seen like, and we're gonna change it. Like, okay. But I'm really praying that we all stay healthy, and
yes,
that, we continue to follow, CDC guidelines, physical distancing, wearing masks, and that, we're able to hopefully pull it off.
definitely. I hope so too. We need to.
Yeah, we've all been working, man.
Yeah, seriously. So, what do you have to say to people who hear the word pageant and they immediately just like retreat and cringe and they're like, "Oh my God, like a pageant girl." What do you have to say to those people?
I think when you start to talk to people about what you have done in the last 6 months, and they kind of sit there and they're like, wow, you have literally not said one word about fashion, beauty, makeup. You've literally talked to me about a solid platform, a charity, a book, like things that have improved you as a person. Just that alone changes the tone of the conversation. And of course, the joke will always be like, nothing more like motivation than like, fluorescent lighting, a bikini, and judges, to like get you going physically. But it changes the tone when you talk about what you really are passionate about and what you have done with yourself. All of the other stuff is just, added bonus, but I really feel like when you talk to somebody pretty honestly, and not to mention a lot of people who may know you as a person would also be surprised, like, you're in a beauty pageant, what, please explain this to me. So, and it's been
Yeah.
really funny, especially in the operating room, because they're also used to seeing me either in a scrub hat, mask, blue scrubs, and I'm typically like, pretty like all business. I'm very into time management over there, so they're like, "Whoa, Granger, we need to see photos here. What's happening?"
Oh my God, you're like, "Joke's on you because this."
Yeah, exactly, right. I clean up well.
Yeah, oh my God, you definitely do. That's awesome though, because you are business minded and you go to work every day and you help out the community and that's what it's about.
Yeah, and like I said, I feel like this, especially this pageant system, the Florida American pageant system, is it's very platform oriented, and it really does make somebody, especially if there was somebody who was very introverted, and putting themselves out there is not an easy thing to do. With the backing of the pageant, you could really challenge yourself, and grow as a person, and do things that you thought you couldn't do, which could be public speaking. It could be, for instance, maybe volunteering, that you something you maybe didn't think you were going to do, or like, well, what skills do I have? Man, you could do anything, and people are just so happy that you're there to help. So it's very empowering to have the pageant system behind you. And I really feel that, especially with the Florida America pageant system. I feel like we've been very lucky. We have amazing director, and the coordinator has been, fabulous in regards to communication. And I feel fortunate to have found all of these beautiful ladies that I get to call, my sisters in the Mrs. and Miss categories.
Definitely. You said the words perfectly right out of my mouth. I'm like, I don't know what to say because you just nailed that. What are you looking forward to most about the pageant?
Oh my goodness. I think, I can't wait to see everybody. It was, I had the opportunity to see, everybody, or not everybody, because not everybody was there, but a lot of people, like a month and a half ago when we had our really almost like our first meet and greet. And it was so nice because what the pandemic has let us do in this pageant system is kind of follow each other on social media. Like, I really didn't think I was going to know who was going to be standing next to me, at a pageant. I've never really done this. So this is like I'm a baby. I've never done this before. So
You and me both, sister.
yeah, man, I was like, wow, look at us. But like, it was so nice to like, you're getting to know everybody, which is like really neat. So I know people's kids, I know what they do, I know what their charities are, what drives them. It is so cool to like meet other like-minded women who have the same goals and who have been struggling with you for like
Yeah, amen to
months
that.
now. So they feel the pain when like the gyms were closed, and they feel the pain of like still eating like, lean chicken and whatever. So I have a lot of respect for the women that I'm competing with, and I think the thing I'm most excited about is to see everybody again.
Yeah, I know. I was so bummed. I was on a flight when that luncheon happened, and so I tried to call. I tried to call in, and I was like, "This isn't the same, like this." But whatever. I'll get to meet everyone soon enough,
Yes.
so it'll
And
be
this is
exciting.
so neat to be able to meet you like this
Yeah.
because, I keep seeing like new people in the woodwork, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's cool. And to meet you like this is so great. And this is really neat that you do this and that you offer your viewers this kind of insight.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been going good. So I love to, share other people's stories and their passions because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day,
Mm-hmm. The hope is, in this, I think the pageant itself is, accumulation of work that we put into, what we wanted to do and transform ourselves in this process. And for me, I see it as a job interview. I want to go beyond this. I want to win Miss Florida. So I am going into this serious, but at the same time, if it ends tomorrow, I already won. I ended up being able to find this like inner peace with myself of being more, community oriented, and to be just a bigger voice like in my community. And physically, man, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm better shape than I was when I was like, 20 years old. So I feel like I won. So if it ends tomorrow, I'm gonna be like really okay.
That's awesome. That's a great way to look at it. It's not about a title. It's about how you grow and who you
Yeah,
become.
definitely. And if you didn't grow in this pandemic, man, like you need to go beg bread again. Be bold, be you, and be blatantly honest.